I started DJing in 1985, but prior to that, when I was younger, in the 70s, my neighbors had DJ equipment. And that's like the first time I saw a DJ. And what they would do is they would come over to my house, they would knock on the door and ask my mother if I can go over and watch them DJ. So I would do that, and I had a little rhyme. I used to do a little rhyme when I was younger, but I wasn't into rhyming or anything like that. I was fascinated by DJing. So in the mid-80s, I purchased equipment. They weren't Technique 1200s. I had belt drive turntables, and I started DJing. I taught myself how to DJ. What I would do is I would spend all my time at home while all my friends were outside playing and my brothers were playing football and baseball. I was home just DJing. I would go to Crazy Eddie's on Fordham Road. People know, you guys know Crazy Eddie. If you're old school, you know Crazy Eddie's. I used to go to Crazy Eddie's on Fordham Road and purchase records. One of the first records I purchased was Planet Rock. And that's how I got into DJing. The first record I signed was in 1996. It was to a label called Progressive High. The song was called Serve, and I went under the moniker G Bravo presents Miss Fernando. For me, that was a huge success because back in those days, it was hard to get a record signed, and I was working so hard 2 years before that just to try to get one record signed, and that was the opening for me. The door opened just with signing that one song, and eventually moved on to 1998 to producing a song called Serial Buff, which turned out to be one of my biggest songs, and it gave me some kind of notoriety that moved the Saliva Commandos name up. I started producing in the early 90s. I guess that's the evolution of the DJ. You start as the DJ, and eventually you want to play records that you want to hear, so you want to make your own records. So in the early 90s, I purchased a sampler. It was made by Digitech, and what I would do, it only had 8 seconds, so I would do loops, and in my DJ sets I would throw in little sample shots and so on. But I wanted to move on to actually make music, so the first sampler that I purchased was an Akai, and it wasn't one of the large ones with a lot of memory. It actually only had like 8 seconds. But it was more than enough to connect to a MIDI player, and I used an MMT8 and to make arrangements. And that's how I actually started making beats. I would stay at home, wouldn't go out, and I would spend all my time just working on these beats. And eventually I moved on to bigger and better equipment. In '96, I shopped some music and I got some stuff signed to Progressive High. And from there, it evolves. You keep working, you keep selling, people like the music. People want to buy the music, you get remix jobs, and I just evolved from the DJ to the producer. The name the Saliva Commandos, people are always asking me what it means, and it actually means nothing. Back in 1996, I was hanging out with a friend of mine and we were actually drinking. And prior to us going out, we were watching the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I guess as the night went on and we were drinking and got drunk, the word saliva and commando seemed to combine somehow, some way, and not by me, it was by my friend. So I said to him, that is a great name. If I ever make a song, if I ever get anything signed, I'm going to use that name. And I did. Eventually, I didn't use it at the beginning. I actually used the moniker G Bravo, which I dropped immediately. And I moved on to George B. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna start using this name, the Saliva Commandos, because I felt it was an original, unique name. There wasn't anything out there that sounded like that. Currently, I have a new project. It's an EP called This Is the Saliva Commandos, and is being released on Gladys Pizarro's new label, Launch Entertainment. It has 4 tracks. One of the tracks is called Call My Name, featuring newcomer vocalist Carly Jackson. I have another track on there called Conga Ponga, and it's remixed by DJ producer, remixer, Mr. V. Also, the main track on there is called Afrimando. So look out for these songs. They're actually coming out very soon. You can pick them up on TrackSource, on Beatport, iTunes, and you can follow me, the Saliva Commandos, on Twitter. Or find me on Facebook and add me. You can also add Launch Entertainment on Facebook. Do that.